Matthew, come in, Matthew.
Hello. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh my God, I can hear you. You're in
Yeah,
Tasmania. This is
sweet.
amazing, amazing.
Um, I just re-downloaded Zoom yesterday because I haven't used it in about 3 years.
It's a relic
Yeah,
of COVID, but it's good for such situations as this.
yeah, yeah. Oh, here we are.
All right,
Yeah.
should we
You
get
pretty
going?
well. Yeah,
All
sure.
right, sick, sick, sick. All right. Hello and welcome to Speaking from Water, episode 21. I have an absolute legend on the line, Mathew Tildesley. He is coming from Tasmania, and it is 1 a.m. And again, Speaking from Water is a podcast that delivers to you the most legendary water experts in the world. And Mathew is just that. He is an absolute genius when it comes to capturing the ocean at just magical times. And I've been a fan of his work for a long time. And I'm honored to have you, Mathew. Thank you for joining us at such an early morning hour in Tasmania.
Thanks. Yeah, absolute legend. That's an intro I've never had.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the truth, man. Before we get into like your background, your history, and everything, well, first, how is Tasmania today?
It's quite cold actually. We've just had a quite the long fetch of a low pressure system push up. And with that's come a decent sized south swell. So all the point breaks were on yesterday, and yeah, there's a bit of leftover swell today, and with that comes cold weather.
Where on the island are you?
I'm based on the east coast, in a town called Bicheno. Um, yeah, quite a few little reef breaks here, beaches, fun area, beautiful beaches. Yeah, usually
Have
nice weather.
have
Yeah,
you been have you been here your whole life, or there, I should say?
yeah. I did grow up here. Yeah, moved around a bit throughout the years, and yeah, settled down now. Got two kids. Um, got a house here, and yeah, really nice community.
Congratulations on the children. Um,
Yeah.
so he, let's dive right into this. I've been studying your work. It's like you're like a mad scientist when it comes to the construction of the gear that enables you to capture the waves as you have. Tell us a little bit about um, how that came about.
All right. So yeah, I've always, this is going back maybe 8 years or so. Yeah, I'd always wanted to get into flash photography more with a surf, and it was always quite a bit of money to spend on flash gear, so I didn't dive in straight away. Now I did end up biting the bullet, getting a Aquatech um, housing for a speed light, and yeah, I think I played with that for a couple of years, and it was always slow between sessions because it's always hard to line up good conditions on sunset or sunrise when yeah the waves would be good for to get people to surf as well. Is another thing. So play with that speed light, and then it got me thinking, oh, how far can I take this? And I really wanted more power, so I ended up selling all of my gear and starting again. So I ended up spending like 15 grand on a whole new camera, housing, and part of that was I was going to build a water housing for a studio strobe, which yeah had quite a lot more power than what I was using. Um, and my initial plan was to swim with all um, these housings that I'd built for this strobe. It's up on the shelf. I could get it in a moment. But during the build process, I found out that I can actually use this as wirelessly triggered strobe and get someone to swim with it. So take the weight off my back, and then in that trial and error period, I figured out if you swim over there on the other side of the wave, I can backlight these waves. there were lots of troubleshooting went into it. Plenty of misfires. Even some sessions we'd go out and the whole setup would just fail because there was connection issues. But yeah, just tinkered away. I think I started in a in a little carport. I put like plastic sheets up to stop the wind blowing in. I was just fiberglassing, making water housings. But yeah, since then I've refined my technique. Still ironing out problems with the process. Like the wireless transmission always gets blocked by the water if one of us, either my strobe assistant or myself, if we're just under the water a little bit too much, or the waves too thick, it does block the transmission.
Interesting. So you have to play with that gap of airspace between the water breaking. Incredible.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's funny that how radio waves bounce around. It's 2.4 gigahertz the transmission, same as your Wi-Fi signal.
Incredible. And these waves, well, let me first describe it for the audience what it is if you haven't seen his work. Incredibly crystal clear blue waves at night, probably the middle of the night. It's pitch black. These guys are swimming out into just rugged surf with this gear, and the outcome is crystal blue backlit waves on black background. And I'm doing a horrible job explaining it, but it's outstanding work. It's shocking, and it captures the eye of anyone who beholds this work. So congratulations, namely because I believe you're the only one who's invented this that I know and is doing so. So big ups to you. Now I'm interested to know, let's rewind this clock a little bit. When did you first start getting into photography, and did surfing come first?
Yeah, I was always, so bodyboarding took up a lot of years when I was younger. From about 13, I was obsessed with bodyboarding. And yeah, over those few years of growing up, borrow my parents' camera, take some photos before and after surfs, and then it wasn't until I think I was about 17 or 18, had quite a bad knee injury, and during that recovery bought a camera, and just taking photos of my mates surfing. Wasn't able to get in there myself. I think I was out for 6 months with my knee injury. So then that sparked quite a bit of interest in photography. And from then, saved up, got a water housing, an Aquatech water housing, and just started swimming with a wide lens at the reef breaks, and ended up getting down to ship stands as well. And that was the obsession for a lot of years. Just chasing water shots. Really, I just loved shooting with a wide lens and getting in amongst the action.
And as a bodyboarder, you're more on slabs than, say, the surfers, especially in this region. I presume, is that right? And does that I was going to say, the connection between the water photographer that's in a slabby area and your history of bodyboarding, they seem like they would compute well together.
Yeah, absolutely. If you do look at the whole surf industries, like with photographers as a whole, a lot of the top photographers are from a bodyboard background. It's second nature, wearing flippers and being amongst these heavy waves. I'm a bit of a nowadays I've tried to do everything, so I've got see all the boards behind me, but there's a couple of SUP boards there, there's plenty of surfboards and bodyboards down the bottom there, and even a hand plane in there somewhere.
So as you've evolved in your capturing your artistic career, are you at all shooting during the day, or is your main focus right now night shots?
Right now, yeah, I don't shoot in the day. Yeah, it's mainly the night shots, which is the last session I had might have been 2 months ago, and before that it was over a year of shooting photos. So it's mainly because I was just too busy with other commitments, work and family and whatnot. And yeah, I was traveling quite a bit last year for work. But with my evolution of photography, yeah, back in those bodyboard days, we'd just chase surf all the time because we had no commitments. We drive around the state, always on the hunt for waves. And then I was looking back on it now, I was trying to mimic other photographers and trying to figure out, oh, what do I need to do to become like a surf photographer? And yeah, I was just chasing an elusive carrot, really, as the industry was declining. But then I started to figure out, oh, I'm not really doing this for myself. So then I just stopped shooting people surfing waves and just started shooting empty waves in nice light. This is before flash had come in for me. So yeah, just shoot the golden light, sunrise and sunset, experimenting with different exposure times, like speed blurs and even super high frame rate images. And then started experimenting with the flash and just dove right in. I was like, all right, I can't be bothered doing that anymore. This is a new thing that I want to try and achieve. And yeah, when I did set out to shoot these backlit wave photos, I did want to isolate the wave in just by itself, so a completely black background as you described before. And the way that the wave like glows when the strobe light goes through, it's pretty amazing. It is, it's super sharp.
As the producer of this work and the work that you've previously produced, give us this feeling you get when you go home and you start processing your images, and how that evolution drives you forward.
I'm pretty hard on myself with critiquing the images, so I'll look through them. I won't look at, oh, that wave's pretty awesome. I'm looking at the fine details because I can have, it can be quite hard to focus when it's so dark, and a lot of the time my depth of field is just a little bit too far away from me. So I'm just looking at to make sure it's in focus. Throughout a session, say I'd shoot 300 photos, I could get 5 or 10 that I like, and I consider keepers. Sorry, I got a bit lost on your question there.
Yeah, I'm looking for a general emotion that comes from within that drives you forward.
Always to improve. Like when we're actually in the water, it's super exciting. Like, and it was quite an emotional roller coaster, really. If things aren't working out, if I have technical issues, it's such a headache, and trying not to get angry at the situation. But then when it does click and things synchronize, and I'm just hooting and carrying on and yelling to my friend over the other side of the wave, like, that was epic. But let's try and do that again. It's exciting when we're out there. And then coming back to review images, it's just soak it all in and always try and figure out aspects to improve the images. I've still got so many ideas I want to try and execute. It's just a matter of getting the swells and getting someone to help me. That's a hard part.
And I can imagine. Tell us a little bit about the conditions that are ideal for you to go out, and then the process of making sure everything's safe, making sure that you're in a place that's not gonna destroy you? What are kind of your variables that you're working with?
So I actually take my boat out to this bommy, anchor it just near the reef. Actually got the anchor snagged last time we went out there. It was just a bit too close to the reef. Um, so I know the weather really well around here. Just spent, yeah, I was obsessed about looking at the weather forecast as well. I love watching systems form. So I won't go out in anything too dangerous, as I've got the boat to look after as well. We anchor it, then swim out to the reef. And we have had a few heavy sessions out there where it's, yeah, my strobe assistant Sam, he got sucked over on one of the waves because the strobe housing is quite large. I'll go grab it. Yeah, so this is the strobe housing.
Wow.
And holding this is quite buoyant. Yeah, it does float. It's like a life raft in itself.
Custom made.
Yeah, custom made. It's really ugly, but it serves the purpose. Yeah, it's
Beautiful.
it's definitely been through a few pressure tests, and I'm in the process of making 3 more for different ideas, and actually got my kids to paint on them.
I saw that
Yeah.
on your Instagram. That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're going out to a spot that you know very well at night on your boat, and it's you and your buddy. That's it, right?
Yeah, that's it, pretty much. Just us two mainly. If I can find other people, they're more than welcome to come along as well. Yeah.
And how big are the waves that you're ideally looking for?
Um, like I suppose there's going to be a bit of a crossover with people's perspective on how to measure waves, but say 3 to 4 foot. I think our measurements cross over to like the Hawaiian size. So if you're
Right.
standing at about head high, yeah, you can stand in the waves if you're riding a surfboard. Yeah, that's my ideal size.
With a nice offshore wind.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had some mornings where it's been quite strong offshore, and it just takes the spray, and if the strobe light hits the spray, just massive rooster tail. Looks beautiful. And then most of the time, I am trying to direct the light underwater, and then that just disperses through the lip, and we don't quite get the spray. But if I can get the lens like above and below water, kind of like the water level like that, and then some light will bounce up, and most of the light will disperse through the water. Yeah, kind of like a flounder light. If anyone's been fishing at night, like with a flounder light, yeah, that's basically how it works.
Can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration where this came from, particularly? What was the aha moment in your mind where you're like, okay, this is what needs to happen now?
Um, the aha moment was probably when I was building this water housing. I was like, oh, I can do so much more now, because I was still trying to mimic what other people had done before with front lit flash.
On camera.
Yeah, on camera flash. So, yeah, I was going to mount this large strobe head on top of my Aquatech water housing, and swim with a power pack on my back. But it was more of a slow evolution of trying to nut things out and just what's possible, and a bit of what hasn't been done, because a lot of photographers do dabble in flash photography, but they haven't taken it to the extremes. And throughout the process, Phil Gallagher helped me out quite a lot. And he hooked me up with some waterproof buttons from Aquatech as well, which is great. I'm so thankful for those. I wouldn't have been able to build the water housing without them. So slow evolution for how it's all come along. It's been quite a few years working on it.
You have a large collection, and there's the part of the process as the artist, what you do then with your pictures. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey through art, through media, what you've liked, what you don't like, maybe your lay of the land in that regard, out of the water?
Yeah. Yeah. So one of my main goals for my photography is to produce high quality prints. I'm terrible on social media. I don't have any tactic for social media. I'd love to be better, but yeah, just throw a few images up every now and again. Definitely working on trying to get better at that. But yeah, my main goal is to produce high quality prints. And when I've printed some of these images up, really large, like meter and a half wide's the largest I've gone, and yeah, they look insane. See all these tiny water droplets that you'd never see in daylight as well. Yeah, did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. And a little bit more on, like, maybe does being in Tasmania, do you feel holds you back from, I guess, getting it out there, or do you feel like you can get it out there physically? I mean, not really so much digitally with your large prints, to the world, or how do you see like the next step in your business?
Um, well, it's not my business really. It's more of a hobby. But right now, I'm working full time in construction. Um, but yeah, I wonder if being in Tassie does, or not having connections yet, is holding it back from being viewed for more people. But yeah, again, coming back to my lack of expertise in social media, that's probably holding back a lot of people seeing my work. Um, yeah, my partner Hannah, she always pushes me. Oh, you need to do this and that, and yeah, she's partly my my secretary in that regard. Yeah, yeah,
Well, I hope this podcast helps get it
yeah,
out there, because it is some of the most, again, outstanding work that I've ever seen, and we're definitely going to put the link to your website. I've been all over your website. You have a calendar for sale. You have prints for sale. So anyone who sees this, please hit Matthew up,
yeah.
and he'll get them to you. Um, I just have a few more questions. Again, guys, this is the middle of the night. He's joining us. Very gracious of Matthew to be coming to the show right now. I want to know a little bit more about your family. How has your how did your parents, like, get you to become the water person you are?
Um, so I think it began from when I was still in my mum's tummy. So I was born in April, and the peak heat in Australia is like January, February. So yeah, she would have been really heavily pregnant when I was in her tummy. So she tells this story of like, oh, we're down the beach, and she would just like dig out a hole in the sand so she could rest her belly and cool down in the water. So yeah, she likes to tell the story of like that's where my connection to the ocean began. Yeah, listening to the water on her belly. And through primary school, I didn't really like going to school that much, and I did. I yeah, on the way to school, sometimes I just wouldn't go to school. I'd just walk off and go down to the beach, and I think that was my early attempts of being creative. So I want to go do my own thing, and um, yeah, it was always the ocean which I'd become drawn to, and yeah, diving, fishing, surfing. That's yes, all it's all quite. Sorry, I got a bit lost there.
Yeah, you're sleep deprived, but you're killing it. The question is essentially, your upbringing, your family, and this is now going to transfer more into you're a father of two now. How do you bring this water life to your kids?
Um, we go to the beach every day, so I'm not going to push them into anything that they're scared with, which I have done a little bit. I got my eldest son to kayak from one beach to the other, so it's about 1.5 kilometers, like almost a mile, and it was quite windy and deep water. And he's like, "I don't want to do that again. The water was too deep." But
How
yeah,
old is he?
he's almost 5, so he would have been 4.5 when we did that paddle.
Epic.
Yeah, it was quite windy, so we had to paddle out around a point, and the wind was blowing him towards the rocks, and he started getting a bit nervous. And it's like, "Yeah, come on, you've almost made it. A couple more strokes." And then we got around. He just skimmed over the seaweed, and then he was off like with the wind. And yeah, I was on a stand up paddleboard, and there's he's like, "How deep's it out here?" It's quite deep, maybe like 15 meters deep. And yeah, he did so well. I don't think there's any other 4.5 years old that have done that paddle. Um, so I'm not going to push the boys into anything though. The youngest, he's a bit more gung ho. He falls over all the time and gets hurt. He's trying to keep up, I think. Yeah, they'll be drawn to whichever water sport they pick, I suppose, and yeah, it's up to them to decide.
And the culture of Australia is so much water based. I've spent some time there, and I've not in Tasmania, but on the mainland. And it seems that everyone's into the surf rescue life saving clubs, the kids and such. Um, how does Tasmania relate kind of to that? Do you have stuff like that, or
Yeah,
is it a little more rugged? Let us know.
yeah, we are quite remote where we live, but we do have a local surf club, and they run skippers. I mean, not skippers, nippers on through summer. So yeah, certainly training up the kids with water safety, rescue drills. Yeah, your normal run up and down the beach, swim laps. Yeah, but certainly on mainland Australia, up and down the east coast, there's quite more of a scene with the surf life saving scene. Yeah,
Did you do that growing up?
I no, I didn't, because it's actually really quiet in the town Bicheno where I live now. When I was a kid, but yeah, now for kids it's unreal. Like we've got a skate park going in, which it's been about 25 years in the making. Like we've been asking for a skate park from the council for that long, and it's finally getting built. So that's exciting for the town. And yeah, there's so many more young families around now. Yeah, so heaps of kids to play with, heaps of kids. Yeah, it's great when we go down the beach on a nice afternoon. There's just everyone's there. Yeah.
So you live a very physical life. Do you have any daily regimen you do to keep physically fit?
Um, right now, it's my energy is quite consumed by construction, but yeah, surf every week. If we find time, we go swim laps at the beach as well. There's a few boats moored out in the bay, which it's kind of like 400-meter lap that we do, or we can swim a bit of a loop and make it longer. So yeah, it's always active. Always something to do. Too many sports and not enough time really.
Nice. So your waves that you're shooting are very local to you. Do you have an ambition to go and shoot foreign waves, maybe waves that you haven't visited before? Is that maybe on the next step list, or how do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm definitely open to that, and I have got some plans for ship sterns, which I won't dive into too much because I don't want to jinx myself and let the cat out of the bag. So yeah, still working on my setup to get it a bit more foolproof. But what I have here, I've got the accessibility to a few waves, which it just works. I can head out with ease, and I've got the system in place. So taking the strobe to other waves around the place, around the certainly there's a few waves in Australia which I'd like to take the strobe to, but for right now I'm mostly focused on here, as life's quite busy at home.
Are you allowed to tell us what waves you're thinking?
I've always wanted to do a bit of aerial surfing, so I'm not sure if you've seen Aussie Pipe, but it's got a really good air bowl for surfers just to.
This is in Narra, correct?
Nowra,
Yeah,
that area. Yeah,
I've actually been there. It's an incredible spot.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'd love to take the strobe there, to shoot some guys doing airs, which I haven't included riders in my waves yet. That's the next step I want to do. And hopefully I get it done soon. I'm actually coming back to one of your mentions before. I am a bit surprised that no one's tried to copy me yet, because when I was starting to build this, I was just like, I need to get this out there. I need to get it done. So I was paranoid someone was going to copy me and beat me to release photos like this. I do get guys asking how I've done it, and I let them know a bit, but not too much, because I've spent so long figuring it out myself.
Yeah, and in the world of art, it's so important for the individual who invents such a thing for it to be known that it is you, because anyone who goes and tries to do what you've done is commenting on the greatness that you here have created. Jackson Pollock did the drips, right? He dripped on the canvas. A very simple technique, but no one there since forth everyone who drips past him is commenting on his work. So that's no longer original. And the fact that you've invented this and it's so original is just incredible, man. So the highest respect and regard goes to you. Let it be known to all who view or listen to this podcast throughout time. This is Mathew's work, and it's to absolutely be respected. And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to get you on this podcast, is just to lay that down, because when my eyeballs first saw it, my head exploded. And to the extent that you could sell this stuff worldwide, I have no doubt in my mind. So highest regard.
Yeah, I have actually sent a few prints to Florida. I think I've sent 2 to Florida, a couple to Germany. It's weird. People come to me just like every now and again and ask for a print. Get the print sent over in a tube, and it feels great to send images around the world. In terms of the work being mine and noticeably mine, it wasn't until I started shooting this backlit strobe that I didn't feel like I had my own style that was recognizable. And as this has become something now, I'm like, it is recognizable. I have created something quite unique.
Without a doubt, and I've no doubt in my mind that you're gonna just completely blow doors off going forward. So I have friends in Nara. If you need people to stay with, please let me know and I'll connect you with them. Shouts out to Tim Lane. Shouts out to all the lanes, and respect out there. So before I let you go, it's late. I have one last question for you on this podcast. What is your meaning of life?
Oh, I'm still trying to figure that out. Meaning of life. That's a deep question. Um, well, yeah, you've got me there. Think I'd love to live a simple life, but then always get dragged towards consuming more or acquiring more things that take up time. The meaning. Um, yeah, sorry, I don't feel like I can answer that well. Um, yeah,
I'll take that as a perfectly acceptable response and
yeah,
admirable. Matthew Tildesley, uh, thank you again, and I look forward to seeing what you're going to do from here, and I hope we can be in touch in the future.
yeah, for sure. Thank you. Um, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up now, are we?
We can wrap it up unless you have any further wisdom to drop on us.
Um, hmm. Well, I suppose one thing I was thinking of leading up to this um, Zoom call was like the photography is only one small aspect to my life. Like I've got so many other hobbies that I get obsessed with. Like just kind of go around in a circle between so many different hobbies, and um, pretty excited tomorrow to get a beehive out of a tree. So the computer's actually sitting on a beehive. So
Yeah, hey,
um,
I have time. Please let me know
yeah,
and us more about your passions here.
yeah. So right now my obsession is yeah beehives. um, I've got the boat out in the yard, which yeah that's another obsession.
Well,
Um, yeah.
let's back up a little bit. What is it about the bees that make you so interested?
It's how they work together. And they've all got a role. There's got your worker bees, your queen, obviously, drones. Um, they just make this beautiful hexagon comb, and it's just perfect. Um, being amongst the chaos of them flying around, like I've pulled a few hives out of weird places, but yeah, when there's all the chaos is happening and they're all angry, you can find peace in there because they're trying to attack you, and um, they don't want you there. But yeah, it can be quite peaceful being amongst the hives. I'm only learning as well, so that's another thing I like. I like learning new things. Kind of get obsessed with something that catches my eye. I'm like, I have to dive in and figure it out. Yeah.
How did you get
I've
into
been,
the bees?
there was actually a bush block next door to our property, and that sold. And I was like, oh, there's a beehive in the log. I need to save them before it gets bulldozed. So yeah, I asked my friend to come and help me because he's got lots of bees. And yeah, we cut this log open with a chainsaw. They were really relaxed bees as well. So I pulled it apart. I think I've got a story highlight on this as
I
well.
actually checked that out in lead up to this
Yeah.
interview. Very interesting. And I did not know until I observed this, as I'm not a beekeeper, that the bees must come from somewhere to your hive. Is that right? To the one
Um,
created by the man.
yeah. So there's manipulation from humans to dictate where the bees go. So yeah, what our method was to get the comb out of the log and put it in the bee box, and they'll smell where the brood is, and then yeah, follow where the brood because they want to look after the brood as best they can. So they'll walk into the new hive, and that becomes their home. And the technique is to yeah leave the box there until dark, and then they all get inside the box. That's their new home, and then you can move them. And you need to move them more than 3 kilometers in one go. If you move them like 5 meters away, they'll just get lost. They don't know where home is anymore. Um, yeah, so I had to move them to a friend's property and then bring them back home.
As you've observed these bees, how you know, a common man with a simple mind, maybe like me, might look at a bee and be like, "Oh, that's just an insect." But there's a large network of things happening here, obviously. Can you comment on your philosophy after observing such natural wonders?
Um, they're they're such hardworking little creatures. Yeah, I'm impressed with like they can fly up to 5 kilometers as a round trip to get food. And yeah, the way they communicate within the hive, they communicate by vibrations and body movements. Like they'll do a figure of eight, where one bee will walk a figure of eight, and waggle their body, and that's to communicate where the food source is at that time. Yeah, it's super interesting. I'm still learning, so it's basically starting out. I hope I don't sound like an expert.
No, you're passionate about it, which makes it extremely interesting. Is there, not to pun into this Zoom call here, but is there any cross pollination between the photography process here that you've invented and the bees?
Um, no, it's just another hobby which I've got on the go, and I certainly want to teach my kids like how important bees are. And yeah, they certainly my oldest, he appreciates them. I asked him the other day, "Oh, do you like bees?" And he's like, "Yeah, I love bees," because I've got a little window on the side of the hive and we can watch them from there. Yeah, yeah, I'm not out to make heaps of honey or anything. I just want it to be more of an educational hive for the kids.
Have you done honey yet?
No, not yet. Well, sad story. I've actually had 2 hive failures through winter the last few years, which were hives that I got from, one was out of the log and one was out of a roof of someone's house. So they haven't made it through winter due to me being away so much. I wasn't able to look after them. But yeah, this one tomorrow, I'm pretty excited to do the best I can to look after them. It seemed like quite an established hive overflowing this tree. So I'm going to try and film as much as I can, and hopefully make a little edit. Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm going to try and start shooting my strobe sessions. To make short videos. Yeah, give more of an insight in how the images are captured and the effort that goes into them.
I know personally, I would love to be to observe that, and I'm sure many thousands of millions possibly would be interested also. So I definitely encourage you to do so. Get that third assistant out there with a video
Yeah,
camera in the water and do it
yeah.
up. What other hobbies do you have?
I'm just getting into foiling as well. That's another obsession. So yeah, I'd love to do downwind runs on a stand-up paddle foil, but my skill level was nowhere near that yet. So I'm going to start with prone foiling. I did go out one day last week, and it was only about knee high to waist high waves, and it was it was so scary, just with this sharp blade flying around, and some of the wipeouts you do when you're learning. It must be funny to watch.
Do you
But
use
yeah,
a helmet?
I've got a new gaff helmet stuff on the shelf there. So yeah, and a
Do you
vest.
do you use that when you shoot also?
I don't, but the other reason for getting that helmet, the gaff helmet, is to put a GoPro on.
Yeah,
Which
there's your third
I
assistant.
don't like. Yeah, I don't like GoPros because mine's quite old. The
Yeah,
quality, like how the slight fisheye makes things look less impressive. Yeah,
agree. I agree.
it's something like if it's myself and one other going out, I need to at least try and capture something to show the audience. Yeah,
And
yeah.
your construction is your professional line of work. How do you view construction?
How's my view?
Yeah, how do you view construction? Do you love
Oh,
construction? Do you have a philosophy about construction? Um, I'm interested to know more.
I've only actually been in construction for about 6 months, so still fairly new to it. Really enjoy it. Um, Quite physical. Where yeah, it does wear me down. Come the end of the day, but before that, yeah, I was skippering boats, tour boats, and a bit of commercial fishing, deckhanding. Um, and yeah, I did a year away on a research vessel as well, but that became too hard with family, just going away for a month and a half at a time. So yeah, had to pull the pin on that and come home.
I saw
But I've
that on
always
your
been,
Yeah, I
yeah,
saw that on your Instagram feed.
yeah,
Did that give you some extra knowledge in life that you didn't expect to have?
absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty amazing what these submersible pilots are doing, and yeah, the research which is going to come out in the next 5 years from the team. It's yeah, well, we don't know much about the deep ocean, and yeah, the lead scientist Alan Jameson, he's like me with my strobe photography, like just fully obsessed with the deep ocean. Um, yeah, such a wealth of knowledge, and um, yeah, since I've been back home after leaving that job, the crew, what I've seen, little snippets of the crew on the ship, they've just rebuilt the submersible. Looks absolutely amazing. Um, yeah, and I think I'm catching up with one of my mates today. We're going to go have a surf, and he's one of the pilots. So yeah, might find out more for you. Yeah,
Nice. Did you have an opportunity to go down?
I didn't actually know. I was surface support. Yeah, yeah,
Is that
which
something that you would aspire to do, or are you good on that?
oh, I would have loved to have kept the job. Um, and yeah, work towards being a pilot. With construction and driving heavy machinery, I feel really comfortable with that. So yeah, moving towards driving a deep sea submersible would have been, yeah, would have felt pretty awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If
Epic.
anyone wants to, yeah, check out on YouTube. There's plenty of videos of this submersible. Um, so the vessel was called DSSV pressure drop. If you search that up, and you'll definitely find something on the submersible. Yeah,
Epic.
yeah, it's a whole other. It doesn't get covered in mainstream media very much. Yeah, what there's multiple teams around the world with submersibles, and yeah, it's amazing that mainstream media just doesn't pick up on these incredible feats that these crews are doing. Like world firsts almost every time they dive. But then, yes, I don't know the news. I don't watch the news myself. It's always negative stuff, isn't it?
Right, it is. I am familiar with it only through the news with the Titanic submersible that
Yeah.
recently had that tragedy occurred. Do you what's your commentary on that?
I won't comment too much on it, but yeah, wasn't it wasn't cool what he was trying to do. Basically, yeah, he was pushing the boundaries a bit too far. Um, yeah, I won't comment too much on that.
Okay, got it. Um, before I do have to pause before I let you go and talk about our sponsor. Can I do this with you right now?
Yeah,
Uh,
of course.
Tama
Yeah, mate.
Tea. Tama Tea is a natural energy drink made here in Wilmington, North Carolina, and it is coming worldwide. It might be coming to you soon, Matthew. And it has only 3 ingredients, and this is their ginger mata version, and it has as much caffeine as coffee, and it tastes beautiful. they are sponsoring this episode. I was with the owners and founders yesterday, and they pride themselves on the natural ingredients, better than Red Bull, better than all of these other brands. So cheers to Tama Tea for sponsoring this episode.
Cheers. Yeah. There's some, I had one of those, a different brand a few weeks ago. Yeah, it wasn't as strong as the like little pot of Argentinian mate you have, but yeah, it certainly gave a little buzz. I'm drinking a cacao at the moment. Yeah.
And so a lot of people don't know about mate. What is your thoughts on mate? I know it comes from South America and the Peruvian region. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I'm one of those people who don't know much about it, but yeah, if you were to travel, I've bumped into a few Argentinians in travels and actually working with some on the construction site. And yeah, they love mates. It's in their culture, and yeah, it's can be quite bitter, like a bitter tea. But yeah, they just sip away. It's a communal drink, so they share when they're having a pot. Yeah, it's maybe I'll have to hit them up for.
Well, maybe I can send you some in that as a thank you gift
Yeah.
for spending your morning with us. And you mentioned you're an insomniac, and that's how you shoot these photos. What kind of is preventing you from sleeping, or what are your thoughts on sleep?
Well, yeah, the reason I'm not sleeping at the moment is pretty much this week. Full moon, that affects me a lot. And crazy monkey mind. I just get on a roll, just start thinking like the possibilities and things I need to do, and it doesn't stop. Yeah, it's a runaway train with thoughts. And
Is there an hour that comes to you that you just can't get away from?
an hour, sorry.
Like is there an hour in the night where it's like, boom, it's 3 o'clock?
Yeah, I did actually wake up a few hours before my alarm to come to this call. I was like, oh, I should just send you a message. Oh, can we do it now? Because I was racing, but then I managed to switch myself off and get some more sleep. Yeah.
Well,
But I do get worn out through this cycle of my insomniac mind. But I just have to let it go sometimes and write my thoughts down, and that helps the creative process evolve as well. Yeah, so right, this month or this week it's the beehive obsession, but I really need to turn it back to building my new water housings, because that's been the shells of the water housings have just been sitting on my bench for I don't know 2 months. Yeah.
well, the series is called Insomniac. Is that do I have that right? The series of prints.
On my website, I've got a few galleries. Yeah, insomnia. Sorry, I'm struggling to remember. Nocturnal insomnia, and there was another one. I've got some new images, which I'm gonna have to come up with another gallery name. Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of new images, which I'm happy with, so I'll have to release them on the website. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, it. That's my piss poor social media advertising. Yeah.
Well, bro, when your images speak as loud as they do, you don't really need to say much. But thank
Thanks.
you for speaking with us on Speaking from Water, episode 21. Mathew Tildesley, much respect, much love,
Awesome.
sir. High regards to you and your family from here in southeastern North Carolina. And if you ever come, I know we would love to have your version of shooting shot in our waves. So thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me on, Sean. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool.
We'll be in touch on the release, and maybe you can get some sleep tonight before you go see your friend later.
Yeah, I'm actually going to start getting my surf gear ready. Yeah.
Drink
yeah,
more of that drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, take care.
Yeah, man. Be safe.